I have a question for you. So what brings you joy? Come on, be honest. Is it money? Is it fame? Is it love? Maybe it's just a quiet evening at home with a good book. Whatever it is, jot it down. Take a good look at that list. Now another question. When you get everything on that list, do you think you'll be happy? If the answer is no, if you know you won't truly be happy even if you got everything on that list, then I have some news for you. You're already there. You already have everything on that list, because guess what? You don't need any of it to be happy. And that's the crazy paradox of happiness. You don't need it to be happy, yet we spend so much time chasing it, searching for it, trying to catch it. In fact, we devote so much time and energy to happiness that we often forget to actually enjoy the happiness that we already have. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to discuss why we're all running after an illusion. To find the answer, we're going to talk about a concept called hedonic adaptation, the science of happiness, and the unexpected power of living a life guided by your values. Before we begin, a quick request. Please subscribe to stay in touch. Also, this video is inspired by the book The Happiness Trap by Russ Harris. It's a great read. By the way, if you finish it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Let's start with the science. Our brains are wired for survival. Every time we reach a goal, buy a new car, get a promotion, start a relationship, our brain releases a burst of dopamine, a chemical that makes us feel good. We feel excited, accomplished, proud, and this feeling passes. The reward system resets and tells our brain, hey, that was nice, but we want more. Give me that again. And our brain is programmed to listen. So it sets a new goal, which creates a new burst of dopamine, and the cycle continues. This is the hedonic treadmill. It's that endless forward motion that makes it seem like we're running all the time without ever arriving anywhere. And the whisper of our brain almost sounds like a mantra now. If only I had that, then I would be happy. But the moment you get it, the cycle starts again. If only I had that, then I would be happy. And maybe that's why today we all feel like we're never good enough, never rich enough, never successful enough. But here's the interesting part. Scientists believe that this hedonic treadmill is not unique to humans. Animals seem to follow it too. Ever noticed how cats or dogs seem to lose interest in a toy pretty quickly, even if it's brand new? They chase, bat around, and investigate it for a bit, and then they're bored. They want a new toy. They want something different. Humans are the same. The problem is that we're not really aware of it. So instead of taking a break and enjoying our lives, we keep moving forward. We don't realize we're already happy, but we assume that we will be happier once we get what we want. So the question is, what do we do to escape this endless loop? Well, for starters, we can learn from the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius, Epicurus, and Seneca lived thousands of years ago, but they were already aware of this human tendency to chase after things that will never make us truly happy. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "What is not an obstacle to progress is not an obstacle full stop." In other words, if it's not helping you grow, if it's not bringing you closer to your ideal self, then it's irrelevant. The Stoics teach us that true happiness, or eudaimonia, comes not from achieving something outside of ourselves, but from living well, from being the best version of ourselves. The ancient Greek philosopher Epicurus said it perfectly, "Happiness is not a goal, it's a way of living. It's a journey, not a destination." But how do we put these ideas into practice in our daily lives? Well, for one, we can use something called the happiness equation. This is a simple formula developed by psychologists that can help us remember what really matters in life. The happiness equation is very straightforward. Happiness equals meaning plus connection plus physical health divided by demands. Let's break this down a bit. The M stands for meaning. It represents our sense of purpose, our values, our beliefs, and our goals. The C stands for connection. This refers to our relationships with other people, our sense of belonging, and our ability to give and receive love. The P stands for physical health, which means taking care of our bodies through exercise, good nutrition, and sleep. And finally, D stands for demands. These are the challenges and stressors of life, things like financial problems, relationship issues, or work pressure. Now, obviously, we can't control every part of this equation. There are things that will always cause stress in our lives. But we can control how much weight we give to each variable. We can choose to focus on the things that bring us meaning and joy rather than letting our attention be dominated by stress and worry. We can make an effort to nurture our relationships and take care of our health, which are within our control. Second, we can remind ourselves that emotions are just that. Emotions. They're not facts. They're not commands. They're not rules. When we feel anxious or depressed, it's natural to think that those emotions must mean that we're not happy. But that's not always the case. Emotions are like weather. They change. They can be sunny and calm or stormy and turbulent. But just because it's raining doesn't mean it's always going to rain. Just because we're feeling negative emotions right now doesn't mean we're never happy. In fact, it probably means we're experiencing the full range of human emotions. This idea is explored in depth in the book Feeling Good by David Burns. Burns talks about how our emotions are often misinterpreted as facts. For example, if you feel like you don't like your job, you might think that must mean you shouldn't work there. But what if it's just a passing feeling? What if it's just a cloud that will pass eventually? Burns suggests that it's important to learn how to manage our emotions and not let them dictate our decisions. He says that we should always ask ourselves, am I jumping to conclusions? Am I making assumptions? Am I ignoring other possible explanations? By adopting this mindset, we can avoid making big life decisions when we're overwhelmed with negative emotions. We can give ourselves time to cool off and think more clearly before taking action. Third, we can find activities that bring us flow. Flow is a term coined by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. It refers to a state of intense focus and complete immersion in an activity. When we're in a state of flow, we lose track of time and we're completely absorbed in what we're doing. Think of a time when you were so engrossed in a task that you lost track of everything else going on around you. You were completely focused and in the zone. That's flow. Csikszentmihalyi argues that flow is one of the keys to happiness. He says that we should try to find activities that allow us to enter a state of flow. And these activities don't have to be complicated. They can be something simple like reading a book, gardening, playing a sport, or spending time with loved ones. The important thing is that they challenge us and require our full attention. When we're in a state of flow, we're not thinking about our problems or our worries. We're not judging ourselves or others. We're just focused on the task at hand, and that can be incredibly freeing and enjoyable. Ultimately, the key to understanding happiness is to realize that it's not something we need to chase or earn. It's something that emerges naturally when we focus on the right things. By focusing on our values, our connections, and our sense of purpose, we create the conditions for happiness to emerge in our lives. So the next time you find yourself running on the hedonic treadmill, stop for a moment and ask yourself, am I chasing an illusion? Am I running after something that will never bring me lasting happiness? If the answer is yes, then it's time to step off the treadmill and start living a life that is guided by your values and your sense of purpose. Remember, happiness is not a destination, it's a side effect.